Greetings, Dapperlings, and welcome to Cosmoteer for the first time, for the second time, in a way. This is a game that we checked out here on the channel in a very early state of development, years ago at this point. But Cosmoteer is going to be launching into early access on Steam in the next coming few days, on October the 24th to be exact. But the developer has afforded me the opportunity to check this out a little bit ahead of its release, and oh my lord, has this come a long way. Now, for those of you who are completely new to the idea of Cosmoteer, Cosmoteer, as the name down here suggests, is a Starship building simulation game. Now, previously, that's really all there was to it. You could design your spaceship, and that was simulated to a very pleasant degree. You could build it up to have different types of weapons, different sorts of jobs for the crew, but really all there was to do is to fly around and have space battles. I say really, but honestly, that's all you needed. It was incredibly fun as it was, but they've gone ahead and they've added a whole plethora of new features to this now. There is a somewhat economy in the game. There are stations, there are quests. You aren't just playing in a spaceship sandbox anymore. You are playing a campaign, if you like. There's also multiplayer, though I haven't had the opportunity yet to check that out, perhaps in the future. But I am extremely excited to get to show this off to you. So without further ado, let's go ahead and just jump into a new game. It is always easier to show than to describe, and this is no exception. Now, we're going to be playing on the career mode, but there is a creative mode if you just want to design ships with reckless abandon and without any concern for the more kind of survival campaign economy mechanics. But we're going to be playing with all of the bells and whistles here today. Now, as ever, if by the end of this video you decide you enjoyed what you saw and you want to see more, then do consider letting me know down below with a comment or by booping some of those lovely buttons. But for now, we're just going to jump ahead in on the default difficulties from what I can tell: Captain and Architect. Advanced game options, it seems that we can change things up a little bit. I hate salvaging, I hate exploration. My lord, what a thing to hate. But if that isn't your bag, you can change that up a little bit. You do have the option of deciding what kind of ship to start with. We'll go with the Model S. The Model S trades speed and offensive firepower for a defensive shield generator that can block incoming enemy fire. You'll start with 5,000, but there are other options. The L is highly maneuverable and sports 3 laser blasters that are effective at destroying enemy subsystems. It lacks any significant defenses though. And the Model C, which is slow and well armored with 2 cannons that are inaccurate but can penetrate into enemy ships. But let's go ahead with the Model S and see what we can get up to, what shenanigans await us in the galaxy. Now, as before, you do have little pings on the map letting you know where things are, but unlike before, whilst we do have this rather nice little system here, we then also have a much larger galaxy map. Now, we're going to need to build up to that, I believe. Can we have a look at it? Oh, no, there we go. We can have a proper look, and there's all sorts of things going on here, and this kind of gives us, these numbers give us a bit of an idea of the relative difficulty in these sectors. Now, the game prior to having the more economic and campaign modes, or rather mechanics added in, was literally just you build a ship and you jump between systems of varying difficulty to face varying difficulty enemy ships, but that was really all there was to it. But as I mentioned, there are now quests, there are all sorts of things. But before we get ahead of ourselves, this is our ship. Oh, really? Someone is heading towards us already? No, they're heading off, doing their own things. Well, we'll keep a bit of an eye on them. They're mostly staying out of range. But this is our ship, and it is fully simulated on the inside. Everything here can be damaged, and when things get damaged, they'll work less well. It can become dangerous for the crew who are manning these areas. For example, our crew are busying themselves taking energy from our reactor around the various things that use it. Includes our shield system, our thrusters, so on and so forth. And this is the little crew bay here. We've got some storage bays because now, as I mentioned, there is an economy and we're going to be gathering things hither and yon. But let's go ahead and say hello to the station over here and see what they have for us. There's a bunch of missions. We can also hire more crew. I'm not sure if you can rename the crew. You know what I'm like with renaming, but I'll have a look at that in a little bit. But right now we've got a full crew complement compared to what we can store. But if we have a look over here, we can see what kind of items are available for purchase. And if we had our own, we'd also be able to sell those. We can also unlock blueprints for different types of systems, and they are very neatly categorized as energy weapons, projectile weapons, defenses, that includes shields and armor, flight, which is not just thrusters, but the bridge, hyperdrives, crew quarters, or rather crew specific, so the walkways. We've got medium reactor cores, various manufacturing factories, so we can turn raw ore into steel plates, which we would then be able to use to build our ship up. Mining lasers, tractor beams, there is so much more here than there was before. But let's start off with something nice and easy. Let's go for a fugitive bounty. A fugitive Bite-class vessel is wanted for illegal activities within the Aninda system. Authorities from the Monolith Cooperative have posted a bounty of 2,500 credits to be paid to any Cosmoteer that can eliminate it. Danger level 1. We'll get some credits, we'll get a bit of fame. We're limited to 4 based on the danger of this. Limited to 40 based on the danger of these bounties. Higher bounties have a higher limit. So once we've completed 4 of these, completing any more won't really contribute to our fame. It's not a big enough job to increase fame beyond 40. But we'll also get some cooperation, or rather in this case, cooperative reputation, but we may as well think of them as corporations or factions. Tells us where it is and how far away. We'll go ahead and we'll accept that. Now, for our first mission, let's just go out there and get a little bit of fighting done, shall we? This is giving us a nice indicator of where we need to go, and right-click will send our ship off. Now, you'll notice that the thrusters are going to fire in the directions they need to. This is simulated, so if I want to slow down, I have to have thrusters pointing away from me, or turn in the opposite direction and fire my main thrusters. Thankfully, the AI is going to take care of working out which thrusters need to fire, or whether I need to maneuver my ship in order to pulse my main thrusters to change direction, so on and so forth. But as thrusters get knocked out, so too does your maneuverability. This isn't just you lose top speed, you actively lose the ability to maneuver based on which thrusters go down. So it's very, very important to note. Now, this little camera there is keeping a view on the ship. Now, we're going to pause this here just so we can have a look at the Bite ship that we're going to be facing. Now, I would very much like to see inside if I could. Ooh, that was not what I meant to do. That is manage resources. Very much not what we wanted. Let's see. Is there not something that will allow me to see inside? Oh, maybe there's not. These look like armor pieces. So this is a fairly heavily armored ship. Notice, though, that it's got only 2 reverse thrusters, then 2 pairs of small thrusters for its forward thrust. If I can take these out, then I'm going to massively damage its ability to turn, reducing it to only having the 2 pairs. Now, because they are off-center, they will still be able to turn. It's just it's going to be much less efficient at it. It's going to have a very, very wide turning circle. But the real thing that I need to worry about is the standard cannon. It's got a weapon system. I don't want it to. Now, I can hold Alt to see all kinds of stats about it. We can also see there's an airlock hatch there and all sorts of things. Now, there are a couple of ways that you can take out a ship. One, you can completely atomize the ship. That is a definite way of taking it out. Honestly, though, if it presents the opportunity, just take out the cockpit. Once it no longer has a bridge, that's it. The ship is dead in the water and you don't have to blow everything else up, which means you can salvage more off it, and that is definitely something we want to do. Another thing you can do is you can just blow up all of its means of moving and all of its means of attacking. Once it can do nothing but exist, the crew will just abandon it in most cases. But for the first battle, let's do something nice and simple. Now, thankfully, this little camera over here is going to be on our ship, so I can keep an eye on that whilst also focusing my attention on this. Now, we're going to slow this down to half speed so you can watch as this goes. Notice that our crew are already firing. Now, we're doing a little bit of damage, and these shots are mostly glancing off my shield. However, you will notice that little sparks penetrate. That's because cannons will go through. Cannons can penetrate a ship, which is what makes them super dangerous. Laser blasters, and especially ion blasters, they're more... they will hit the surface, and that's as far as the damage will go. They're very good at applying that damage, but the cannons can puncture and cause fires, which is very, very worrisome. So having most of our ship quite far away from the shield projector helps out. Notice the crew in the pods here, they need to get energy charged up. Every shot reduces the amount of energy available, and you notice those little pins are going down. That's the same for the shield. As it takes shots, it slowly depletes energy, so our staff are having to run energy back and forth from the reactor as often as they can. Now, we're in fairly close proximity. This is not necessarily the best. I think we're about to blow that up. There we go. Okay, we want to limit the amount of damage that we do to the ship at this point. Now, one way we can do that is I am going to focus fire on this thruster, but I am also going to do it from over here. Start to maneuver my ship around the side to try and take out that thruster, thereby reducing their ability to do any further maneuvering. Now, I've taken that one out. I want to take out the other maneuvering thruster that they have. Now, my cannons will right now continue to just fire as they can, which means they will do a little bit of damage to the armor. You can tell them to cease fire if you really want to prevent that. I'm not going to worry too much about it. Now, another thing to pay attention to is we're knocking parts off this ship as we go. Yeah, see, those that pair of those pairs of thrusters are enough to push it around, which is a bit of a pain. I don't want to destroy that storage bay, but I don't think we've got enough maneuvering thrusters to be able to do this, so I might just cleave straight through the middle of the ship. It's going to be able to dodge me a little bit too easily, even with a reduced thruster complement, so we're going to just have to dig our way through. Oh well, there we go. And now the cockpit as well, please and thank you. There we go, dead in the water. We can now return to receive our payment. We do have to go back for that, but before we do, now I did mention there would be some salvage. Oh, look. So sorry. I mean, I didn't need to salvage you. That was accidental. We've got others that have managed to get out without dying. Well done to you. However, I'm going to be honest, the vacuum of space is cold and uncaring. Best of luck to you. However, I don't think it's really going to go your way. Now, we've just selected the gather, salvage, and mine resources. These are just loose resources. You can see them as steel, and if you hover over them, there'll be a couple of others as well. Like, for example, there, we've got some coils, and also down here as well. However, what I really want is to break apart this ship. Now, there are two important systems here. There's a hyperdrive, which will have hyperdrive fuel, and there's a reactor. The reactor will have nuclear fissiles, so we'll be able to use that to potentially build another reactor, or just sell all of the stuff. And early on, we're probably going to be doing more of that than building things out of it, because we're not really going to be able to store enough materials here. But thankfully, if we are to, let me see, can I turn that off? Let's have a look. This is my management. Where is the button to show or hide the ship? There we go. Show ship interiors. Perfect. That's what I needed. Now you'll notice that as our crew have material to bring along, they can just drop it into the bays there without having to use the airlocks. I quite like that. We've got an enemy nearby. It doesn't look like it's moving toward us, so I'm going to continue gathering for the time being. That's the main thing. Though you'll also notice that right now, we've got no power in the shields. That's because my crew are busy salvaging a ship, and I don't have very many crew. That's probably the first thing that we're going to be working on, is getting more crew together so that we can take care of that. We've got a nice little gathering of materials, though, which is actually quite nice. Though this job would be significantly faster if I just scooched the ship a little bit closer and made the job a little bit easier for our pilots, or rather our astronauts. Well, I imagine one of them is a pilot. No, the pilot's still there. The captain doesn't have to leave to go do salvaging, my lord. They didn't spend years in officer school, so they'd have to get out there and salvage a ship. Now, looking at this, we've actually made some decent progress. We can, of course, speed things up quite fast if you are brave and you don't think you're going to come under attack. There we go. You may have noticed that our crew were showing up O2 warnings because they were drifting off quite far. And we're starting to get low on oxygen. That is simulated. You can't just fly off and expect them to still be alive when you get back. They won't be. Right, let's head on back. We've got a hold full of odds and sods that I would like to use to do a little bit of building. But we'll grab some more credits first, because building is expensive. especially if you have to buy the components, which we probably will. We might be able to get away with a couple of little enhancements based only on the steel plates that we've gotten, which are the primary building resource, I will say. Right, with that, let's slow down time so that time can continue to tick by. There we go. And there we are. Nice. Okay, so we're going to have other bounties, very similar fare, I imagine. But we've also got this one down here, Pirate Hunter. Roving pirates have been attacking civilian trade ships in Eninda system. I just adding an I for no reason. Disrupting the profits of local businesses. The business owners have posted a bounty of 8,500 credits to be paid to any Cosmoteer that can destroy 8 of them. Now, there are just roving pirates, but they can be anything from danger level 1 to 3. This is a good one because, as we've seen, there are just roving pirates out there. But this will also give us standing with the Fringe Systems Resistance. And 16 fame with a limit of 140 in this case. So we're actually going to pick that one up just so we've got it. We'll take this bounty too. There we go. Now, clear asteroid field. A handful of pirates have been preying on civilian mining vessels in the nearby asteroid field. The mining companies have posted a bounty. This will be plus 25, but it's still limited to 40 for the for my fame. But I think we'll go ahead and grab that one. It's a fairly easy one. Three of them is good enough. Now, you'll notice we've got a whole heck of a lot more trading options now. Currently, we're holding on to Hyperium. We're not going to have a hyperdrive for quite some time, so I am completely okay selling all of that just for some quick cash. All of this, well, maybe the hypercoils we're not going to need, but I'm just going to sell the Hyperium for now. And with that, let's go ahead and do a little bit of building. Notice that the crew from aboard the station will come and collect those materials. They don't just get transported across, though perhaps later on we might have that. And then finally we get money. Unfortunately, there is no way of doing the trade, getting wide the money, then running away with the cargo. No, they're a little bit wiser than that. They'll pay you when they've got the cargo and not a moment sooner. Now, we're going to go... There are a couple of ways you can build. The easiest and default way is just slap stuff on, but the moment you build it, you've paid it. And I don't believe you get all of the resources back when you decommission it. You build using resources. I don't believe you have to pay unless you don't have all of the materials and you're in orbit of a station, in which case you'll just buy from the station what you need. So it'll tell you what you require. However, you can also go into blueprint mode. Now, as I have played this way back when, and this was at least in there at that time, I tend to default to blueprint mode because you can do a couple of fancy things. For example, at a normal operation, you can't have a ship without a bridge. So if you want to replace your bridge, you have to build the new one and then remove the old one. But because I'm in blueprint mode, I can simply move the bridge that I've got somewhere else before I give them the okay to build everything I've designed. And so that allows you to properly design what you're doing in a little bit more of a methodical manner. Now, one thing I would like to do is I would like some more crew. To that end, look, okay, if I put the crew quarters here, they're right next to the thruster. They can just enjoy that soft thrumming engine hum. And also the heat. That wall will be nice and roasty toast. Actually, no, hopefully it's super well insulated and they won't actually notice that it's right next to the engine. But if not, roasty toasty beds. Right, there we go. Now we've got this empty space over here. We've also got a couple of indicators down here. These are really, really useful to look at. This is telling me, based on the equipment that uses power, where the kind of suggested power level is. We're actually exceeding that, so that's great. But based on everything we've got, how far people have to travel, and the kind of consumption rate of power, or in the case of cannons, ammo, how many crew you would realistically want to be able to man that ship optimally. And right now, we're quite far from that. But that's why we're adding a new bunk in there. Now, I could add a smaller one, which would only give me 2 crew, but I think this is good. This is command points. This is based on your bridge. Your bridge gives you a certain amount of command points to play with. And as you build your ship, you will use up command points to run all the various systems. So do keep that in mind. So we've got 33 command points left. Now, what else would we like to do? I did notice in that last fight, as much as I would like to be a little bit more punchy, I didn't like how slow we were to be able to strafe around our target. I am a big fan of circle strafing. Not just in this game, in any game. I like to be able to dance around my opponents and take my time to take them out at my leisure. So we're going to add on 2 standard thrusters. Right now, we are currently using up all of the materials that we have available. If I want to pop this in, and I do, let's go ahead and rotate that. We'll plop this down there. And then I want another one on this side. Now, you can use mirror mode if you particularly want to, and usually I do, but I always forget to add it in right at the beginning. But as you can see, because we're right next to the station, even though this is going to use more materials than I have, I'm going to go through all of my steel plates, but I'll just buy the excess I need. Furthermore, I would like a little bit of extra armor just on these sides there, just to pad that out a little bit. Finally, we could add in some more thrusters down here, perhaps. Some point defense systems, always a good move as well, in my humble opinion. But where we would place them is a little bit of a trickier proposition. Having some point defense right at the top there might not be a bad idea. These will also do double duty and will actually pitch in with the battles as well. If we want to pop those right there, that will give us quite a bit of an upgrade in terms of firepower. But now we are lagging behind in terms of actual power. That one is going to be a bit of a trickier one to solve because it requires fissiles to fix. They're expensive. Much better for us to gather them from defeated ships. But I think this is a good place to be. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to confirm this change. Make it so down here. Tonk. And there we go. All is done. Now, as you've noticed, we've still only got the 6 crew that we had before. So I would like to upgrade that a little bit. So we'll come out of build mode. We're going to have a quick chat with the station and head over to crew. Now, I would like to hire the maximum 6 to fill the 6 available beds. There we go. Full crew complement. Wonderful. If we have a look in here now, we're actually quite close to the recommended amount of crew. It's suggesting 13, but 12 is more than good enough for now. However, we are quite far away in terms of power, and I would like to improve that here. The new crew members come along. Don't leave before your crew members have caught up, otherwise they'll try and chase you down in their spacesuits, and they will die. Please don't kill your crew. We will also add some extra doors so that crew moving from the reactor can pretty much get anywhere in the ship very easily. I think that is a wise move right there. Okay, so with that done, now there is a lot more stuff I would like to do down here, but we're going to take a little while to get to that, I think. For now, this is solid. Now, as you can see, this requires... Oh, drat. We didn't, or rather I didn't, move you around. Let's go back into planning mode. Unfortunately, that doesn't have an access point because there is a fire extinguisher right there. And yes, you really do need these. Do not go out without fire extinguishers. First, I would like to pop some doors in there so that we've got easy access. Then I'm going to replace the fire extinguisher back. Now, I don't need to. So I'm going to turn off symmetry mode. I'm just going to pop one fire extinguisher there over the airlock. It's not the best design, by far, in fact, but it's an okay design for now. I could, in fact, have 2 fire extinguishers, and that might be even better. Yes, we'll pop down a second fire extinguisher. Now I definitely need a new airlock, though. So let's pop an airlock. We're going to have to find a spot for it, because this does have machinery along the wall, so you can't just put a door wherever you want. I guess we'll just have the airlock there, and then in this spot I'll just pop an armor plate for the time being. That will just have to do for now. There we go. That will cost me 300 extra credits, but we had enough. Okay, ship is a good one. Now you can also paint your ship if you are particularly artistically inclined, and you can design the kind of decals and change the coloring on the top. We won't be doing that for now. That's for well, if there's enough interest in seeing more of this, then maybe we will start getting really creative with our ships. But for now, I just want to cover as much of the game systems as possible and give you a good idea of whether you would like to pick this game up for yourself or not. Right, now, we're going to head on over to have another fight. You notice we've still got some coils and hyper coils in storage. There are more things that we can do with our crew, however, and things that we probably will do following the next couple of battles. But let me get over and find our dance partner. Oh, okay, well, that's not the dance partner I was aiming for, but it's the dance partner that we've got. Okay, let's move in and see what kind of fight we've got ahead of us. Alright, exactly the same kind of enemy, so this one shouldn't be too bad. I would like to see now if my current ship is with the extra thrusters on the sides, whether we have enough means to circle strafe our way around. Now, what I would like to do, target the thrusters on your way, please and thank you. Now, we're going to slow time down a little bit because fights happen quickly. Let's have a proper watch. Oh, our point defense are trying to shoot down the cannon rounds, by the way. They will engage the ship if they can get close enough, but right now they are happy to shoot at the cannon rounds as they can. I would very much like us to try and strafe all the way around. I think it's still got a little bit too much rotation abilities there. That's a bit of a shame. That said, if we get right in close, we might be able to spin around it a little bit faster than it can turn. But my shield starts to be significantly less effective at that point. Oh well, it looks like we're not getting through that. So you can use shift to chain targets. So just unload into the cannon if you could, please. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't look like our point defense system is really getting involved at the moment. Do I need someone manning these, or are they automatic? I think they are actually automatic. Let me have a quick look. If I were to click on this, hold down Alt, see, speed, power use, doesn't really tell me too much about it. Now, one of the things you can do is you can zoom back and you can see where the firing arcs for all of your weapons are. And it might simply be that they don't like engaging that close up, but because they might not be able to tilt towards it quite well enough. There we are. Because this is going to be in their firing range. Okay, there we go. Everything is cleared out. Let's move in, wait for the ship to stop drifting. And now with extra crew, we should be able to very quickly strip all of these materials. But on the topic of extra crew, there are many, many things you can do in here. One of them is you can go in. Currently, we've got the red shirts. Let's not have red shirts, shall we? However, I would like engineering staff. So I'm going to go for a kind of a muted gold. Engineering. Hopefully I'm spelling that right. I probably am not. Job priorities. Now, there are lots of things. I always want them to try a job. Jobs with higher priority numbers will be done before jobs with low priority numbers. You can turn them off. You can have them priority 1. 1 is the low number, so they'll do that job if they must. But what I would like to do is this, and then set all priorities in here in weapons to 1. This is not the job for engineers. Same over here. We want all priorities in projectile weapons to 1. Defenses, though, or because some of the weapons will be in multiple groups, you will see that happen every now and then. I'm okay with engineering handling the defenses as well. Cockpit, I'm going to say on 5, same with control room and bridge, which are just larger versions. The hyperdrive, though, let's keep that around 7. Thrusters, however, I want all of those to be on 8s. That's where the engineers are going to shine. Eject resources, that's a very low priority job. Gathering resources is salvaging and mining. I'm going to say salvaging and mining is a higher job for the engineers. Supplying the capacitor, also going to be a fairly high job. The factories, yeah, we'll keep middle of the road on 6s for all of them. Storage bay, I mean, this is if you've got nothing else to do, just handle general hauling jobs. Sensor array, tractor beam, I'm fine with them being where they are. But that's our engineering crew. Now, what I can do is I can say everyone that is bunking in this bunk is now an engineer. Let's go into the red shirt options and edit that role. First and foremost, let's not call them red shirts. And there we go. All of the priorities are now set. As a consequence, we might see a couple of the jobs not getting filled for a little while everyone switches over to their new roles. But as we get more and more crew, we will be able to get those roles filled out a little bit better as we go. Now, we can speed things up, make sure that everything is broken down. There we are. Now, you can also be very explicit in the jobs that people do by actually designating certain jobs that certain bunks will have. Let's say we had 2 bunks for security and we had more engineers elsewhere. Then I could say these bunks specifically man these weapons and these bunks specifically man these weapons. And you can do that by clicking on a bunk and then selecting the systems that they will manage. And that can be very, very useful, especially on large ships. You don't want someone who's bunked on the other side of the ship coming all the way to the aft in order to man the rear point defenses. You want them handling things closer to their bunks. Now, with that said, let's get out there and get that bounty. Currently, we've got a ship cannot be controlled because it's... Oh, are we struggling with people? No one is manning this job. Okay, so yes, like I said, there was going to be teething troubles. I guess I should give this a roll a little bit of a higher job priority. Currently, engineering are gonna run the flight. We'll pop that in there. There you go, engineering. Enjoy being in control for a while. And seriously, you don't ever want anyone to stop using the bridge. That is how your ship gets exploded. There we go. Let's find out how we handle this fight, and if indeed we get a different type of enemy. And it looks like we are today. We've got 2 laser guns, very similar ship to our own, but the cockpit is right up front. Okay, this is going to be a very, very easy fight for us. Their weapon system will, be able to do a little bit of damage to our shield, but I should imagine we'll dig straight through that cockpit, and that will be the end of this ship more or less straight away, which is going to be great for us because it means much, much more salvage. There we go. And that is it for them. Now, it's going to drift a little ways because it was moving fairly fast when we took it out, but we should be able to get all of this salvaged fairly quickly. Now, we have hit a snag. That snag being, we have run out of storage space, but we do have some things in storage space which is going to allow us to fix the problem. Let's head over to storage, and we're going to get a larger storage option. We're going to turn on symmetry so we can add a couple of extra spots all at once. There we go. And our crew should be able to... Oh, actually, we could even pop this in there. Sure. There we go. That will allow us to get everything sorted. And now that we've done that, we should be able to continue the salvage operations. There we go. Got plenty of space to start loading things up. Now, if you want to go heavy into industry, especially if you want to do any mining, you're going to need an awful lot of salvage, of space to store the ores in particular. They take up a lot of room. Better if you can immediately convert those ores using onboard refineries, because they take up significantly less space as like metal plates than they do as raw ore. But you don't always have that option. We're just going to burrow straight through. We know that we're not fast enough to be able to get around you, sadly. So we're just going to dig through this ship. So far, so good. Lots of low threat pirates. We are making our way towards the 8 roving pirates at the moment. This will be our second one, and we do have 1 bounty to turn in. Again, though, we are going to immediately start salvaging, and we're mostly going to salvage everything we kill. We are very, very far away from the point where we can happily ignore the potential for salvage. Thankfully, with time dilation, we can do this nice and quick. Though we have got a couple of fissiles already, and hopefully every time we manage to take out a ship without destroying its reactor, there's a small chance that we're going to get a little bit more, and that would be huge for us. In fact, right now, I think we might be able to enhance our ship just a little bit. We're quite a fair way away from being able to afford the fizzles because we need another 6 of those. But we can add some more thrusters, I fancy. And therefore, I think we should. Right, now how are we going to place these in? I'm thinking we are going to want to have these right there. Secondly, I would like to turn on planning mode, and then we're going to have some extra maneuvering thrusters here. Have we got enough? Yeah, we've got plenty. We've got a lot of materials available to us right now. We place that there, and then add in a little bit more walk space. In fact, I think what we'll do is we'll expand this cargo, and then add in the corridors down here as well. Marvellous. And then we can just top this off with a little bit of armor on the back there. There we go. And with that done, we'll just use the materials that we had on board, thereby freeing up some more room for ourselves. Now, one downside to this is I just realized we've now got 2 airlocks. We're not really making the best use of this space. It would also be useful to have some more fire extinguishers down here. And again, we've just added more things that need power, and we're already kind of getting power locked a little bit. So this isn't the best scenario, I'm going to be honest. Let's make sure that our crew can pretty much get wherever they need to go. More doors is better, in my opinion. All right, with that done, let's head on back out. Allow our crew to quickly start loading things up from the reactor. Perfect. And with that, let's move on to our next destination, which is down here. We've got to clear out this asteroid field. There are a couple of unknown signals around the place as well. And yes, that little marker there is warning you about not getting too close to the sun, which really does make you wonder about these planets, though, to be fair. They appear to be too close. Ooh, what be you? Also, you may notice that we have got a couple of asteroids that you can mine. Now, you can mine manually if you particularly want to. Oh. Is this just a ship that we can straight up... I guess so. Alright. Just found a wreck just out in space. But these will show you what kind of materials are in the asteroids. You can get out there and have your crew just take the picks to the ship and harvest it. Alternatively, you can use mining lasers on board your ship. Now, mining lasers have the added benefit of being able to mine hard rock, because not everything on these asteroids is mineable by hand. You may need a ship mining laser to get some of it. Still, let's dig right through. That being said, have we got enough means to... let's give it a try. Let's see if we've gotten to the point where we can get around you at this stage. I doubt we have, but we'll see. No, still very much not able to do that. Let's take out both of your thrusters on either side. See if they can get a firing solution on that. Probably not, though, so let's drift around to the side. We are a lot faster than them at this point. We might be able to manage it. Maybe not. No one is manning this weapon, or also had no batteries in there. Okay, so we've taken out all of that. Still think it's very unlikely that we're going to be able to get around. Now, there is one other way of taking out a ship. I'll demonstrate it, though I wouldn't usually go for this. Okay, maybe I won't. Apparently, the ship is a bit shy about letting me shoot its reactor. Fair. Ooh, I say that, and it is suddenly decided that, nope, it doesn't want to be in this fight anymore. I am A-okay with this. Okay, open up on the thrusters. The cockpit is going to take more time for me to break down, so just take these out. Oh, it's turned around to engage a larger threat, and I can see why. It's launching missiles at it. Fair enough. Well, in that case, it's not actually trying to get away. So, oh, was I shooting those missiles? My point defense may have been engaging those. I mean, they came a little bit too close for comfort, so, you know, it's fair game. No, please. Stop shooting my wreck. No! Ah, damn it! Bloody missiles! Scallywag! Oh well, I guess we've just got less stuff to gather. Alright, well, let me get all of the gathering done, and I shall bring you right back. Okay, we are done with the salvage operations. Ooh, there is another unknown signal. Now, this could be all sorts of things. It doesn't need to be an abandoned ship. We don't really have the crew to make use of abandoned ships in the way that they are intended, I don't believe. Rather, you can take control of them and add them to your fleet, but right now they're more valuable to me as scrap. I would have to sacrifice too much from my main ship in order to deal with them. Okay, this is a smaller ship, a different design, but more or less the same deal. Lots of small thrusters, only 2 small thrusters at the sides though, but very heavily armoured. Still, we can try and dig our way through if we can. I would be very happy to. But with the abandoned ships, you can transfer crew, you can add that ship to your fleet if you particularly want to. If you fancy yourself an admiral, not just a captain, then that is absolutely an option. No, I don't think we're easily going to be able to dig through here. That being said, got a couple of good shots there, and if we can do the same on this side, then we might actually stand a chance. And we're noticing the point defense going for that cannon is actually plinking off the armor on the ship a little bit more. Now, we really do need another reactor because this is hopelessly ineffective right now. Now, if I can swivel around, I absolutely will, but I very much doubt we have the means to. That being said, no, we're really not. So, fine, we'll dig our way through. Let's get all the way through there. Crew are doing their best to try and keep things going. The engineers are not really loading. You know what? I think we're going to change a job for the engineers. Let's go into edit role. Job priorities. In terms of supply, I'm going to give them all supply priorities in energy weapons to 10, and we're going to do the same down here. Well, actually, maybe to 8 would be a better one. Can I change all supply ammo priorities to 8? Let's see if that's affected everything. No, that's fine. Let's go ahead in energy weapons, and you know what? Let's keep the shield up there as well. I see no reason not to. Though I do want the thrusters to get a bit of a higher priority then. That's their main job, is running the thrusters, in my opinion. Operating them at the very least. And there we go. I think that should be good enough. Now with that done, I'm going to go into the security priority and just make sure that they're not prioritizing supply. Let's pop supply down to a 5 for security. Why? Who said that they could put... Damn it, that's meant to be your top priority. I can see why so much stuff wasn't happening now. My lord. There we go. That should be a little bit better. Ah, damn it. There we go. There's me trying to be fancy with my operations. Okay, that should make sure that things get resupplied as they need to now. Noticing the engineers rushing out there, and hopefully our security staff will, as a result, now be able to just man the guns and not have to worry about rushing off to grab fuel from the reactor. Our engineers will take care of that. But they have emptied the reactor of fuel. The reactor will produce fuel at a set rate over time. Better reactors produce fuel faster. You don't require any consumables for the production of fuel. You just need the reactor. The consumables are used in the production of the reactor. But there we are. That was nice. We're up to 3 out of 8 roaming pirates, and I feel that now that I've noticed that I had the priorities all squiff for my security, that should actually be a little bit better. Now we are leaving materials around, and I dislike wasting food. If you weren't going to use all of the kill, then why did you kill it? Also, maybe I should be in this mode. There we go. That'll be a bit better. Now, we're going to expand things out just a wee bit. Especially in regards to the storage space. If we do something like that, it gives us a little bit more room down the bottom as well. I would like some extra armor for our personnel. I want to let them know that I'm taking their safety seriously. And additionally, we can now upgrade the storages here to big boy storages. There we go. Fantastic. Now, as for down here, could even have more crew if I really, really wanted to. I'm not actually sold on that idea yet. I would very much like a new reactor, if I can possibly get one. So I think having a new reactor somewhere around here would make a lot of sense, or having a reactor down here specifically for my thrusters would also make quite a lot of sense, so we'll see about that. We've got 5 fissiles at the moment. Right, make that upgrade so. There we go, and continue gathering all of the bits and bobs. Chop, chop. Of course, the engineering crew are going to load fuel rods into the thrusters first. Okay, let's get back to that bounty that's been sitting there for quite some time now. Oh, never mind. Okay, this is not a good place. That is a pirate base right there, and that is not something we want to tangle with, not for a while, maybe ever. Notice these that aren't moving around? They are the same as the ones that were around this station. Those are turrets. Now, turrets can be varying different shades of difficult to deal with, depending on what the turret is. If it's just like an energy weapon turret, then it's going to pack a bit more punch than a regular ship, but it's also not going to move, which means that you're going to have an easier time getting around it into a specific, to get a specific firing solution. You can hide in the shadow of certain parts of the turret, especially as you've started to do damage to it. However, if it's a missile turret, that is just bad news bears, and you don't want to be anywhere near it. So far, I have not had the best of luck with missiles, I'm going to be honest. Even with a frankly ridiculous amount of point defense, they still manage to be a much bigger threat to me than I would like to admit. Right, we've got a couple of enemies in here, and I'm going to want to try and pick them off one at a time if I can. Oh, hello. That is a very, very big rock. Alright, let's see if I can't grab some attention of yours. Can I just scooch up? There we go, got you. Now, duck back around behind here. They're going to charge in. They are going to come for the fight. There we go. Now, they've got 1 cannon, 1 thruster. Ooh, you are a very weak ship, I feel. Alright, we want to take out that particular bridge section. We don't need to be anywhere near that close, so let's hang back. There we go. Of course, you know, it could hide behind the asteroid. That is a wise move, and it's waiting for its friends. I disapprove! That's my tactic, how dare! Alright, well, let's engage from a safer distance. Again, from the maximum weapon range that we have, whilst they just faff around on the rock. I'm okay with this. Hopefully we can dig through this ship relatively quickly. Not really liking that. We're about to set you free, aren't we? Let's draw back then. Back off. That's right. No, 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 no. They're about to unhit. Ah, right. Well, we've made this problem, this situation significantly worse for ourselves. All right. Rush in. Just to put some distance between us and them. Move quickly, because you don't have shields on the back. Right, their gun is gone. That makes them the significantly lower threat. Turn back around quickly. Thankfully, we do have a reasonable amount of maneuverability, so we were able to swing about nice and fast. And as soon as we've gotten rid of that cannon, then we'll just take one of you out and then focus on the other. But thankfully, now that we have defanged them, they may be able to rebuild it, given enough time. But let's try and stay on this side of the ship. It can't easily maneuver out of the way. Perfect. Finish that off, please. And pop. Now just try to burrow into the bridge. Is the other one following it? No. Now, if that had come along, we might have been in some serious trouble, but thankfully, not too much. Unfortunately, we don't have a very punchy weapon here, and getting through the armor blocks is going to take some time. Okay, we're now starting to hit it, but we are about to say hello to their other friend. We may have taken out the bridge in time. Yes, we have. Fame up. Nice. Okay, let's switch targets until they arrive. They haven't locked onto us just yet. Now, I tend to play it at half speed. I find that half speed is a completely comfortable speed for combat. Whereas quarter speed is a little bit on the slow side, but even just like 1x speed, it sometimes feels a little bit hectic. Okay, so I don't want to let the spoils of war drift off too much, so we're going to sit here and strip these down. But I am going to turn the ship around so that we're in a good position to deal with the enemies should they arrive. And because of the way that I have prioritized the job of our crew, our security staff are probably not going to leave their weapons. That is their job, and they intend to do it. Now, we have got a bit of damage here that we can fix by going in here and then choosing to repair, and they'll just use materials in the ship. In the middle of a fight, you can't do that. You have to have a bit of a cooldown from the time that a weapon last fired to be allowed to make any of those changes. But with all of this extra room, we are actually doing amazingly now for our cargo capacity. If we can be lucky and get some more fissiles, then I think we can probably throw down a new reactor in here. You know, coming dangerously close. No, you're heading back out again. That's fine. Ooh, there's some fissiles. We need, I believe, 8 in total. So with that, we need 2 more barrels. There we go. Now, there should be a bunch more stuff to gather over here, and then a whole other ship to salvage just a little ways away. And if we're incredibly lucky, because fissiles aren't a common thing to get back, I've found. But if we are incredibly lucky, we might be able to grab some fissiles over here as well. Now, do I trust that ship not to give us any hassle while we're doing this? Probably not, if I'm perfectly honest. So we do need to keep an eye on it. If it gets close enough to decide to come say hello, then we're going to want to immediately break from this and call the crew back in, because obviously the crew will be incredibly... Oh, wow, they did manage to get both. I am shocked. All right, I accept. Let's go ahead and place this down. Now I need... Ah, damn it. Okay, I need 2 extra... of all the things. 2 extra coils. That's vexing. In the extreme, actually. We've got a lot of random odds and sods here. I suppose for the time being I could... Sure, we'll pop this in. I'll allow my crew just to grab what's left. That way, at least, we get all the materials. But once we return to base then, we should be able to install the new reactor. There we go. But yeah, once that one little coil there is taking up an entire square of floor space. Alright, let's get back out. Hello. I would like to say that this is going to hurt me more than it's going to hurt you, but that would honestly be a lie, so we'll just go with you should have reconsidered your career choice earlier than this. I don't know if they can actually offer surrender or abandon a ship once we start attacking it, but that would be a cool mechanic if that was possible. Alright, let's have a quick look. We want to grab an awful lot of stuff, so go ahead, crew. Do what you do best. Predate on the corpses of the fallen. And with that, we are full of stuff that we can't use, especially the cannon rounds. But, that's a new target area over there. I'm going to say no. No to you. We're going to go and hand in our mission, I think, at this point. We've done enough work, damn it. Crew needs some R&R. We need to give them some shore leave aboard a station. And we'll also slow down time. There we go. Right, so let's hand these in. We can't get any more fame, sadly. We've already got too much. But we can get a decent amount of money and some extra standing. Perfect. Now, they're actually offering us an objective to rescue a station from some pirates. Now, that's a bit of an interesting one, though I sadly think, looking at the time, that we're not going to have time to get to that. So what we're going to do for now, I'm straight up going to sell the 42 Hyperium. Again, we've not got a hyperdrive. We don't need that yet. I'm also going to sell the 67 cannon ammo. Don't need it. I'm not going to get much for it. It's literally 1 each, but still, that's quite nice. And initiate that trade. That's 1,000 right there. Thank you very much indeed. And we will allow our crew to start exchanging wares. Let's speed things along. There we go. That'll empty it all out. Perfect. Now, with that done, time for some modifications. First and foremost, building mode. So, I want to remove this, and I would very, very much like to add in a small reactor down here to run these engines. We're going to add in a door right there as well. And at this point, I would like to say maybe some more thrusters. Got a decent bit of money there. There are some options available here. We're going to okay that. We've still got a lot of armor plates, but now we've got plenty of energy available. We've also got energy at the back, so our engineers are going to be able to get that energy where it's needed. But one thing I would like to do is we're going to speak with the station once again. And this time we're going to go over to the blueprints. Now, can I afford a large thruster? I can. Whether I'm going to be able to afford to build one is an entirely different matter, but we can now make them if we've got the materials. Let's have a look. Looks like we do. Yes, please, and thank you. Let's get that bad boy in there. Hook up the doors as necessary. All right, our little ship is starting to get some serious engine power on it. It's going to be interesting to see what the max speed is at this point. In fact, sure, we'll give it a quick burst, see what we can get up to. And we'll quickly be able to watch down here. We're up to 103 meters a second. Not bad at all, I must say. But I'm afraid that is going to be where we wrap up today's episode. As I mentioned at the beginning, if you're interested in picking up this game, you only have a few days to wait. It is going to be available on Steam in early access on the 24th, but you can always wishlist it now. Links, as ever, will be in the description down below. But until then, if you've enjoyed what you've seen and you'd like to see a little bit more, then do remember to leave a comment and or boop one of those lovely buttons down below, and I will see what I can do. But from me and our intrepid crew of no longer red shirts, do take care, everyone.